Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. I'm going to be focusing on giving you tips for some simple projects to get started with, and I'm going to kind of give you a summary of the process you would go through to make some of these things. Now I'm going to have links below your YouTube screen which will give you even more detailed information. But these are focused for beginners, or even people who are trying to learn how to sew again after 50 years have gone by. So I'm going to show you how to take an inexpensive beach towel that you bought at Dollar Tree or you bought at Walmart or wherever you go to shop. And this is one I got at Walmart, and they sell them really cheap. Every spring they start bringing these towels in, so this is great for summer. So this is the two ends of the towel. So you want to fold and bring them together. And you do this so that you can find the center at where your shoulders would be. So then you would take a straight pin and put it on the folded edge at each corner. Then you would open this up and line a ruler up where these pins were at and cut this towel in half. So once you've cut it, you've got to do something about those raw edges. So you need to cover up those raw edges. So if you have a serger sewing machine, and this is what a serger does right here, use your serger and run both of these edges, the raw edges, through your serger machine. For those of you who do not have a serger, these are some of the overcast stitches that you might find on your sewing machine. Every sewing machine has different ones, so look in your user's manual to find out which one is recommended overcast stitch. Then you would take the raw edges and run that through your sewing machine, covering up those edges. Now you're wondering, why are you cutting it like that? And then we're going to have to stitch it back together again. Well, I'm trying to make a boat neck, which is really easy to make. And it's a little more complicated trying to cut a hole, because then your hole has to be set just right on it. It's up higher in the back and lower in the front. And this is so much easier doing a boat neck. So let's pretend that these two pieces of fabric I have here are my towel. So here's the two serged edges, or using overcast stitch. Now bring them back together again and pin them together. Pin them up where your shoulders would be. You want to leave an opening. So after you've pinned where you think your shoulders are, slip it over your head to see if it's too big or you need to enlarge it more. You want to make sure it's easy to get on and off. So then you would place pins where you're going to stitch. And I recommend you do about a 1/2 inch wide seam and stitch it on each side. Then at your ironing board, you want to open it up and then press it open, and there's your opening. Then at your sewing machine on the top side, from this seam here, go out about 1/4 inch. You could go out a little more if you want, and do a straight stitch all the way across. Then go on this side and do a straight stitch all the way across. And that's how you do a simple boat neck. Now fold the towel again in half, but this time you're going to bring the front sides of the towel, the pretty sides. Bring them together like that, and now you're looking at the underside of the fabric. And this is where you're going to stitch side seams. So determine just how big you want your opening. Remember, make it comfortable. You want it easy to get on and off. And then you're just going to stitch where these, see where the edges are folded over here? you want to stitch close to that. So stitch down the side on both sides. Now, if you want, you can leave a little slit at the bottom so you could stop anywhere you want and stitch it there. Then you turn it front side out and it's all done. So to get to the link, it's down below your YouTube screen, and this is the one it's going to take you to. Here's the armholes, and this is what it would look like when you're all done. I've also got a couple of little quick beginner projects for you, and also for some of you who are interested in scrap buster projects, this is something to keep in mind. You just need small pieces of fabric for this. So I'm going to show you how to make a little cover, or I'm going to give you a summary of the steps to make a little cover for a tissue pack like this. So you have a larger piece of fabric on the bottom. You have 2 pieces of fabric on top. These fabrics are folded in half. You place them on the edges and stitch around it, and then you turn it front side out and then slip your tissue inside. Okay, here's one more little quick project that you can do. Here's a notebook cover. There's very little sewing in this, just a little bit. So you have 2 pieces of fabric, you bring pretty sides together, and you're going to stitch around all 4 sides. And on one side, you're going to leave an opening that you don't stitch over. After you stitched, you trim a little bit off on the corners, turn it front side out. Then you take your notebook, and in the tutorial I show you how to measure for it. You place it on there, you fold your edges over, and then you stitch on each side. And then you slip your notebook in there. You can place something like this on there, which is a Velcro closure, or you can leave it off. So when you close it, it looks like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you've learned something new. I hope those of you who are beginners, if you haven't turned your sewing machine on yet, ever, then turn it on and put some fabric in there and just stitch. Study the part of your user's manual that explains all the buttons on the front of your machine, and then just push one and see what happens. Don't be afraid of your machine. I promise you it doesn't bite unless you put your finger under the needle, which I've been guilty of at one point or another during my time as sewing. Now, if you're interested in seeing any of those tutorials that I talked about, any of these projects, look below your YouTube screen for those video links. I get a lot of questions about this quilt on the wall behind me. I will also have a link to that particular quilt. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.